Anchoring our questioning is Judge Carter from Texas, who I believe has some of the strongest military presence of any member of Congress in his congressional district. Judge Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We like to hope so anyway. And welcome and thank you for being here. I apologize for being bouncing in and out, but I'm chairing a hearing across the hall, and I have to get over there every once in a while and make sure it's moving along. Start off with a more provincial question. FY 2014 Defense Authorization required 2 reviews and reports regarding the issuance of the Purple Heart. The reports are due not later than 100 days from 80 days from passage, which means this May. One review is of the attacks at Fort Hood, Texas, and Little Rock, Arkansas, and requires anyone determined to be eligible for that review to receive the Purple Heart. The second review is a broader look at whether the criteria for awarding the Purple Heart is still relevant in today's battlefield, and requests your recommendations for any changes in that criteria. Mr. Secretary, I hate to get local, but this issue is very important to me. I represent Fort Hood, and the community that I represent has a keen interest in this issue. It also has significant impacts on the department. Can you provide the current status of that, the report preparation, any updates you could give, and about these reports that are due in May?
The reports are ongoing. The recommendations have not been presented to me yet. It's something that I watch very carefully. You might be aware that I have asked for a complete review of all our military decorations. In light of, I think it's just important to do that every now and then as we've come out now, coming out our military combat action portion of the longest war we've been in Afghanistan. I think it's a smart thing, appropriate thing to do. So there is an ongoing review of all our military decorations. And this specific area that you have mentioned, because it is specifically noted in the 2014 budget, I will make a I will get the recommendations. I will make a decision. We will be obviously working with the Congress on this, and we'll be in touch with you on it.
Well, we look forward to that report in May. It's important to our community. If I may, another line of questioning here. Mr. Secretary, this budget proposes significant force reductions, particularly in the Army. Our men and women join the service with the understanding that they would be performing duties associated with their military occupational specialty, their MOS. Recently, I've heard concerns about the effect of morale of service members who are being tasked to perform duties that have nothing to do with military skills. The morale of our service members severely impacts the efficiency and performance of our military. It must be taken into consideration when seeking these efficiencies. Has this issue been brought to your attention? How do you plan to address this issue to ensure that our men and women are performing the tasks they signed up for? As DoD reduces the civilian and military workforce, as this budget proposes, can we anticipate that our service members will have to perform more of the support roles that were once conducted by a civilian workforce? And finally, what consideration, if any, does DoD give to the effects these civilian workforce reductions have on the surrounding communities around our military installations?
Judge, I'm going to respond briefly, and then I'm going to ask General Dempsey to respond to this question, because I think it's important you hear from the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff on this. First, the morale of an institution, our military, nothing more important. I'm committed to assure that. Second, we have a professional military. They don't peel potatoes anymore, like I did once, and maybe you did, when I was in the military. This is a professional group of men and women. We treat them as professionals. We ask them to undertake professional assignments that they were trained for. If there are specific examples or areas where that's not happening, I want to know about it. I know Chairman Dempsey wants to know about it. Our chiefs would want to know about it. I will do everything I can, and while I'm Secretary of Defense, to assure that. So that would be my general commitment to you and to the people of this country and to our military. And this just, it won't happen as long as I'm here. But let me ask the chairman.
Yeah, and I'll answer this briefly, and we'll follow up with you, Congressman. In adjusting to our new budget reality, we of course have had to issue guidance to the force on displacing, in some cases, contract workers. Over the last 10 years, when the budget was, when we had a budget where we were able to do so, for example, you might have noticed most of our installations were guarded by civilian contractors. So as we have adjusted to the new fiscal reality, the guidance has been put soldiers back into those functions, but only if they can relate to their responsibilities as, I'm using soldiers, but it's true of all the services. So one of the responsibilities of a soldier is inherently to guard things. That's what we do. And so putting soldiers back on the front gate at Fort Hood makes perfect sense and is consistent with what you'd expect of a soldier. Where there may be other things happening and we learn about them, we adjust it. But we are doing more than we did before at garrisons because we've got less money to spend to have others do it for us.
Thank you.
And I'm not saying this is happening at Fort Hood, but the question comes up, do you want an MOS of an artilleryman pushing a lawnmower? And that's why I asked the question.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Judge Carter.